Hey everyone, how are we doing today? This is James Sweeney, aka SplitSuit. Welcome back to another video. And as part of the Ask SplitSuit a Question series, a bunch of people ask hand history questions, and today's question comes from Max. And Max just wants me to review this hand played with Ace King online. So let's check it out. Okay, this hand is from 10 No Limit on PokerStars. There's a raise from player 5. Here decides to 3-bet. And I like the fact that we're 3-betting. My only gripe is with the size, and I know I'm always complaining about the bet sizes, but I would just go straight up to $1 here. Player 5 only opened at 2.5x. I would just go straight up to 10 big blinds and start hammering away and go from there. As played, we end up getting called by player 7, and player 1 decides to Min-4Bet, and it folds around, and here we are. So in this situation, Max decides to just call. And obviously, once we face the Min-4Bet, we're getting a great price, so folding is definitely not happening. It's just, do we want to call or do we want to come over the top? Now, when we just call, we're giving player 7 a super sick price, plus position, plus closing action. They can pretty much continue with whatever the heck they called with in the first place, and it doesn't matter. They're not really making a mistake by doing that. So that's definitely one thing that I definitely want to keep in mind. The other thing is, what does player 1 do this with, right? A lot of players will look at this and panic and say, oh, this has to be aces or kings. And I just don't think there's any reason to think that. There are plenty of bad players who simply don't know how to bet size, who maybe misclicked, who maybe are overvaluing something and just simply don't know how to choose a bet size with that. It's just one of those where I'm not worried that this is only the nuts. And because of that, I'm just going to be in a 5-bet mentality. Now, this hand's a little bit weird because the open size was only 2.5, the 3-bet size was pretty small, the Min-4Bet is obviously very small, so normally the pot would be much larger by this point, and a 5-bet is usually much closer to a ship. But in this exact situation, I would just 5-bet it up to something like $4, go forward from there, rather than flat, create what's most likely going to end up being a three-way pot, and there's just really not a lot of flexibility post-flop to run bluffs, right? So when that's the case, you're forced to hit hands, and a hand like Ace King is going to miss the flop 2/3 of the time. So keep all that kind of stuff in mind. I would much rather come over the top now, get aggressive, start fighting for the pot. If player 1 goes away, okay, still win an okay pot, not concerned with that. And it also sends a message to player 1 that no, you're not just going to re-raise me whenever the heck you want pre-flop. That's not going to happen in this session. So because of that, I'd much rather see a 5-bet than just a flat call in this exact spot. And as played, player 7 calls as well, not shocking. Notice that we get to the flop with a very, very small SPR, so if we do catch, we're going to be committing, and we do catch, which makes life a million times easier. Check, check, player 1 bets, and Max decides to just check shove. So in this situation, you have two kind of options. You can check call and try to induce player 1 to continue firing at you on future streets, or you can just check shove right now. Again, it's a small SPR pot. It's one of those situations you're going to commit either way, so it's just which way do you want to go. Unfortunately, there was no information given to me about who player 1 is, no HUD stats, no general information, no nothing. So when you have even the slightest bit of information, you can craft this flop line precisely, but as played, I'm really not going to fault you for check shoving. I really wouldn't get here because I would have 5-bet pre-flop, but as played, definitely totally okay with this. So we end up getting called by player 1, goes spades out the back door, and unfortunately we end up losing to that. And it is what it is, right? Sometimes we're going to get it in really well and end up losing. It is what it is. We don't beat ourselves up over results. We just want to make sure that our lines were best. I don't think our line here was absolutely best. Again, my pre-flop line would have been different, but as played on the flop, yeah, definitely going to get it in. Just sucks that we lost this time, but it's going to happen. And remember, just because you lose a hand doesn't necessarily mean you made a mistake. It's always good to review it, but don't necessarily think that because you lost a hand that you made a mistake. Your opponent could have easily made a bigger mistake, but unfortunately just got lucky on you. So Max, thank you very much for the hand, and if you or anyone else has a poker-related hand or question, feel free to send it to me directly at splitsuit.com/send, and same as always, if you have any comments or questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you back next week with a brand new video, and in the meantime, good luck out there, and happy grinding.